Good evening, and welcome to Winthrop Votes the Issues. How we doing, Scott?
Good, good. We really didn't want to be here, but like the man once said, I thought I was out. Every time I try to get out, they pull me back in.
Yep.
And in our case, every time we want to take a night off, Phil Boncory pulls us back in.
Yeah, so special pop-up edition. Wanted to talk a little bit about the town council president and what he's up to. Because
Now soon to be ex.
yeah, last meeting is tomorrow night. We'll get into the details in a minute. By the way, I'm Todd Sacco, along with my co-host and the greatest producer in the land of Facebook, Scott McLean. Scotty McLean.
Those guns. Look at those guns.
Yeah. Watch out. They
Not bad for 58.
58.
Yeah, I just turned 58 on Saturday.
Wow. Did you see the new Spider-Man movie?
Going Wednesday night.
Yeah. I tried to get tickets for my kids for this weekend, and there's exactly three seats, and they're all in different parts of the theater.
Yeah. I remember when that first started. That was talked about in the 80s that it was going to happen. Then started in the 90s. It was like unheard of that you had to get an assigned seat at a movie. So not that kind of like really killed the good old days. First they did away with the ushers.
Yeah.
And then they did away with you can sit anywhere when you walk in, and then the death blow to all movies, movie theaters, the entertainment, the whole fun of being in there was when they started showing commercials.
Oh, yeah.
Before the movie. Like commercials you see on TV, Coke and, Olympus cameras, and it's just ruined. It killed it.
The whole experience has changed. Do you remember Kincaid's Theater? What was it, 35 cents on a Saturday matinee? Sometimes you got two movies and a show in between with like clowns and balloons and stuff.
Dude, he used to do, they used to have those old time serials like The Shadow and The Adventures of Buck Rogers. He'd play them before the movie. So it was a soap opera. So every Saturday you'd come back to see what happened. They'd leave you with the greatest cliffhangers ever. And I saw some of the best horror movies, all those Hammer horror movies like Vampire Circus and Brides of Dracula and all. He showed them all. And it was chaos. It was absolute chaos in that place on a Saturday. I don't know how anyone could even hear the movie. It was just chaos.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me.
Nah, it was good times, though. Good times. So before we get started, I found out today, I discovered something, that there is hope out there, people. There's hope out there. Yeah, in the form of the Utes, right?
Two Utes.
So all this stuff, we hear all these, the Twitter world is and the only reason I'm talking is so people we're going to wait for people to catch in to the show. So my son's, I live in Boca, and my son goes to FSU, and his friends go to like FAU, and he has a couple that go to Ohio State. And one of his best friends, Jewish kid from Boca, goes to Ohio State, and he's home on Christmas vacation. So he was here today, and his name is Mitchell. And so I said, "Hey, Mitchell," and he's one of those kids that's he's politically aware, right? Or so he thought, and I'll get to why. So I was like, "Hey, Mitchell," he actually worked on Pete Buttigieg's campaign for the presidency, and short-lived. But I said, "Hey, your boy Pete, he doing great, taking maternity leave with his husband and their baby during a supply chain crisis. He did it's really good of him to do that, right?" And he just looked at me, and he kind of looked down, and he looked up. He said, "Yeah, well," because we always used to have talks. Whenever he'd come over, we'd have some sort of discussion. I'm interested to see. And he was very liberal. He was a very liberal kid. And he said, "Yeah, well, lately I'm starting to move a little to the right. And I said, instead of going, I told you, yeah, come on over. Yeah. I said, interesting. Why is that? Because we've always had left and right, kind of discussions. He wants to be a city planner. He's going to Ohio State to be a city planner. Very good kid. And there was a couple things that he brought up, but he said he likes the being a liberal, a Democrat. He likes kind of the how can I put it? He put it in a way. He likes the thought of it, the idea of it, but he doesn't like the way it's being implemented. To make a long story short, he doesn't like what they're doing. He doesn't like what's going on. He doesn't like the identity politics. He's a Jewish kid, and he basically said that they don't really do anything about anti-Semitism. It always seems it's based on, and this is from him. This isn't me, and I didn't say a word to him. I respected the he's 22-year-old man, so I'm not, And he said that it's basically boils down to it's more about color than what than you as a person, like him as a Jewish kid. Like they never really the liberals never really say anything about anti-Semitism. It's always about helping the people of color. And so he's in there. This is keeping a long story short, but there was a lot. And I just said, well, you know what? I'm proud of you for at least being aware of your surroundings, being aware of what's going on and paying attention and not being, getting caught in the haze and the smoke screen of what's going on. So yeah. So that's enough about that. So why are we here tonight, Todd?
Why are we here? Well, it's unfortunate, but a couple things. First, I think the first big thing is as everybody. So for the listeners, we have a process that we typically follow for replacing uh, folks who leave the town council or the school committee before their term is up, and it's the appointment process. And back in September, Tino resigned. Tino Capabianco resigned from the school committee. He was of the notion that it was going to be voted on in that next election. So, that was why he resigned at the time he did. Obviously, that wasn't the case because the seat's always up for election in the same cycle. It's about the seat, not anything else. Anyway, so there's a process. What happens is a joint session of the town council and the school committee meeting is called. The council president, who has a seat on the school committee, gets to nominate. Can nominate. People can apply on their own. Council members can encourage people, but ultimately he can nominate or not nominate folks. Now, the backstory on this is, again, has been the behavior of the council president. He has been trying. He was on a one course just a few weeks ago to support one particular candidate. That changed, and now he's been on a mission to get, which by the way would have been a vote in January after the newly elected folks were sworn in. So the school committee wanted to wait. That was their choice as a committee. That was their thought. That was their directive as a committee to wait, because everybody that's going to be working with the new appointees, because there's going to be a precinct 2 appointee as well, is, the folks who have to work with those folks. Logically, we think they should have a vote. And so Hannah Belcher, Joe Aiello, am I missing? I know I'm missing more. Suzanne Leonard. They don't have a vote until January, but they're going to be working with whoever it is that's appointed on the school committee, right? So also Richard Fusillo.
Wasn't one of them reelected?
The reelect was Jen Powell.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Jen Powell was reelected, and Julie Barry was reelected.
Julie Barry. Yeah.
Yeah. So Phil decided that he wants someone else, he wants a different candidate, and was seeking legal attention. I'm sorry, attention, seeking legal input, legal opinions on whether or not the majority, because as it says in the charter, it has to be a majority of the two bodies, right? A quorum. If that can be, it's a little, it can be read kind of both ways. A quorum could mean, okay, you have 15 total, be nine on the school committee. I'm sorry, nine on the town council, six on the school committee. That's 15. A quorum is nine. So the council alone, if they all show up, can allegedly, or one opinion says, yeah, you can vote for the school committee person. Well, let's full stop right there. Imagine that the entire school committee doesn't show up, which uh, allegedly they're not going to show up to this meeting. Some can't make it. Some are like, forget it. We want to wait for the new people because that's the process we agreed upon. And Phil was part of that because he has a seat on the school committee. Am I boring you yet?
No, 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 no. You got to break it down. You have to.
Okay. I just want to make sure it's coming across clearly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we now have the change of heart and we have resources being spent to, legal advice that's time our lawyers are spending, someone making the call, circulating the information, all of this stuff, right? Calling this all meeting, all of this, because on the way out, somebody wants to give a big,
Yeah.
middle finger on the way out the door. That's all it possibly can be. It's a complete flop from the original position. And this is not surprising in terms of, the council president making promises to people and then not fulfilling them or not living up to them. So that vote is supposed to be tomorrow night. 6:30, I think it is. The reason I think everybody that's watching should know is I think emails need to be sent. There's been some kind of ugliness behind the scenes too. So I think everybody who cares should be emailing the councilors, the council, and the school committee members to put this off until the new people are elected. You've got folks politicking, folks who have been elected but not sworn in, making their voices heard. It feels a little lousy. You are a voice, yes, in January when you get sworn in, but right now you really shouldn't be weighing in on the candidate you want. That should happen amongst the current members. But anyway, let me stop there and field any questions you might have.
No, I think you did a good job. So Phil, once again, this is the reason he got voted out by a landslide. Because of stuff like this. I just add that to the list of Phil's follies. This guy, he has no class. All he has to do is bow out gracefully. Just fade away, and everyone will remember you as, oh yeah, Phil was the former Winthrop Town Council president. Now he's going to be looked at by at least a good group of people as just that guy. He's that guy. Couldn't just go out gracefully. Had to come and shake it up. I will be heard like a petulant child. Like a petulant child. Do you think, somebody speculated to me today, and I won't say what part of the Winthrop Town, overall, whether it's a committee
ecosystem?
or it's the Winthrop political ecosystem, suggested that maybe he might owe someone a favor. And that wasn't from just a civilian, so to speak, as we said in law enforcement. So, this is a pretty typical Phil move.
Yeah, and let's think about this for a second, because what it does to the candidates, both candidates are in a losing position at this point, right? If this vote happens tomorrow, whether it's Celeste or Lane, neither of them want to be part of this, right? Do they really want to be part of a pissing?
I wouldn't want to be. I don't know what they're what their thought process is, but I wouldn't want to be, because he's leaving.
Right.
So if you don't show up, he can't do anything.
Right.
He's gone. He's a lame duck. I wouldn't show up. I would just. So if the 6 members of the school committee don't show up, which they shouldn't, and the 9 members of the board of the town council show up, he needs all 9 of those votes, right?
Yes.
Which is Jim Lettieri is one of them, right?
Yes.
So he's going to get 8. And maybe I know there's maybe 1 or 2 more that aren't happy with this. So he was not going to get a quorum. And it's not the candidate. We're not going to point fingers at the candidate and what their leanings might be on either side. That would not be appropriate for this. It's not their fault, They have passion enough to have wanted to run, and now they're stuck in a shite show.
Yeah.
That Phil's causing. Yeah. So let's get back to this. I can only see Facebook user, but I think we know who it is, right?
This one right here?
Yeah.
I know. I think I can find it if I go look on Facebook, because I don't know who it is.
Who left the seat?
Valentino Capabianco.
With that, because it only shows us Facebook user.
Yeah, that could be him. Let me see if he's typing out. Anyway.
I'm going to take a look in here. Yes, it is Valentino. Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yep.
I thought so. Oh, is that me?
You're giving us, that's you.
No, I think it was you.
No way.
I think it was you.
Nope.
Wasn't me. But you know what, Valentino? You're absolutely correct. It's a total disrespectful move on Phil's part, which once again, Phil's legacy is going to be this. Is he that arrogant? Is he that just blind that he thinks that this is like something good to do? Especially, look, if Valentino could have just stayed on until this happened, till the election was over, and I'm assuming, right?
Yeah. To be like, this whole thing shouldn't be going in this direction, right? I mean, it's unnecessary. It puts people in a bad position. It's causing a ruckus on the way out the door. I don't know. And it's also, like we said, putting the 2 candidates in a tough spot. And by the way, the committee would be lucky, candidly, to have either of them. They're both great candidates.
Yeah, we're not attacking either candidate, and we're not even going to say who we want. I think we've already said that. But so Kurt Millar, friend of the show, also have to remember the nomination was to be done in a timely manner. There's no definition of timely, so if there was an agreement made in November,
like a handshake, you mean?
Yeah, I guess there was an agreement, wasn't there, that they were going to wait until everybody the new people get in, and then they were going to vote it. To all of a sudden say, well, time's up. I'm Phil Boncory. I'm leaving. And I say, time's up. We need to vote on this because I want to get in the person I want.
Well, and here's how you know that's his motivation. I mean, he's now trying to say, well, we should have done that. This needs to be done. We have an obligation. Really? You could have forced this issue back in September. You could have also moved a little quicker on hiring a town manager. You dragged your feet for 6-7 months on that. So,
yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
and it says, Kurt says nowhere. I'm sorry, Todd. Kurt says nowhere does it say that the seat goes to the next in line with voting. But that's only common sense.
Well, courtesy.
If you came in 4th, that means you got the 4th most votes. That means more people liked you than like the 5th place person or the 6th place person. The numbers, numbers don't lie. Right?
So Kurt's right? There's
he is right, but common sense has to kick in eventually. And I'm not saying Kurt doesn't have common sense.
Well, but
I didn't mean to insult you, Kurt.
I'm gonna say, but I'm gonna
Don't
say
get your
this.
sister after me.
The phone will be ringing in 2 minutes.
Oh, jeez.
Um, I'm gonna say though that if it were me, okay, and I had to choose between two candidates, I will tell you right now, if the fourth place person is distasteful, I'm voting for the fifth. I'm being transparent. That's how I would do it. But some people, they do what you want to do. You want to give it to the fourth place person that's like a gentlemanly thing to do in small town politics. Maybe that I should look at it more that way because let's remember, Phil knows all these people and he's lighting a fire for them, for his neighbors, right? I mean, we're supposed to be a community. The stakes are so low, relatively speaking. Why so much drama over this?
Well, that's Phil's not going out peacefully, like we said. He's going to try to get his last slap in the face, to whoever, a big middle finger. I'm not going out lightly. You didn't vote for me, so I'm just going to cause havoc. And I'm going to make people not like each other because it's inevitable. Someone's not going to like somebody because of this. What does it say? In the most friendly tone to Kurt, doesn't need to say it must go to the fourth, but it does show voter intent. That's right. The numbers don't lie. What justification is there to ignore the will of the voters? Exactly. That's where it's just common sense.
Selfishness.
And Kurt says, Kurt's going to die on this hill. He says, but common sense doesn't fit into ordinances. Then the ordinances need to be redone because ordinances should be done with common sense.
Come on, Kurt.
If the ordinance doesn't fit common sense, then how is it written? The only other way is the opposite of common sense is nonsensical, which means it makes no sense, right?
There's plenty of that.
Yeah.
What's happening right now is nonsensical.
Yeah.
Everybody had a kumbaya moment, and now all of a sudden, oh yeah, there you go, because it's Winthrop. And well, that's just the point.
To be negative and cutthroat.
That is just the point.
Man.
That's the point. Why?
It's not so this shouldn't be, but he's leaving this. This is all Phil Boncory. This isn't anybody on the school committee. This isn't anyone else on the town council except for him. And it's right before Christmas.
Here's a gift for you, Jim. Some tumble on your new council.
Yeah. Yeah, let's see. I think either woman would be great, but how do we ignore the voter intent? Again, that you shouldn't. It should be next in line, but because I guess just because that's why, because.
Perfect.
The ordinances need to be reviewed and updated. Yeah, I would say so. They seem vague, timely manner. How about 90 days? How about 90 days?
Yeah,
timely manner, replace that with 90 days.
A lot of
it's pretty simple. Let's see. It should have been on the ballot. Yeah, right.
Kurt makes a great point in the next one. He's absolutely right.
If there were 4 seats open, voter intent may have been different. How about bullet votes? If there were 4 seats open, voter intent may have been different. Now you're speculating, but the person came in 4th. So, hey, it's Morrissey. What's up, buddy? Little break in the action. Hey, psst. What's he doing? Say hi to people. Say hi.
Oh, step on the keyboard, please.
He will too. That's what he does.
Hit the mute button. Oh, he's playing music.
He's playing Jing. Let's vote Morrissey. Hey, Morrissey, say hi to everybody. Say hi. Hi. Merry Christmas.
There's a cat on the screen.
That's all right. And now his butt is showing.
Yeah, Dr. Doolittle. Yeah, thank you.
Anyways, back to the show. Let's see. Agreed, but until the charter is tightened up, I think we can agree the voters spoke. Yes.
Let me jump on that, by the way, because speaking about tighten up the charter. So here's a fatal flaw in the charter. If all 9 members of the council showed up, there's nothing to say that vote would not go through, right? If they pick the school committee person. But forget that. If it's a full vote, if it's 9 and 6, right?
Yep.
The council can outvote the school committee for the appointment to the school committee.
Correct.
And the school committee does not participate at all in the town council appointment votes.
Right.
That is a screwed up. That is as backwards as it comes, and that needs to be addressed in the next charter review. That is really.
When do they do charter reviews?
I think it's once every 3 years, but we just had one this year that kind of went nowhere. There was some change, COVID.
Can Jim call a special meeting? A special charter review?
I got to talk to him about that because I do think I know the people can do a petition to move away. I'd like to actually move away from I'd like to go back to town meeting, but at the very least, I'd like to get a mayor, an elected mayor instead of a town manager.
Watch this cat. Watch. He's going to knock this off. Watch. There we go.
Why would he? Why is he?
I knew it. It's nothing. That cat doesn't want to knock off a table. It's nothing. I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean, it definitely should be relooked at somehow.
Yeah,
I resigned before nomination papers were due. That's Valentino. It's every 5, and I believe it will be done in 2022. Okay. Well, I think they should change timely manner to a set time.
Yeah. And I think the council should be able to move, make a motion to have it on an off year if they want to make charter. I think they actually have the right to make charter changes themselves. I don't think it has to be in a part of the review committee.
What do you think about Winthrop having a mayoral system?
I think
think of that.
I think it would be better because the people would vote instead of having a CEO, which is the council president picking the town manager, basically, right?
Yeah.
And being the only one that talks to him, he's the conduit, he or she is the conduit. It's too much power concentrated in 2 people.
Yeah. And there could be conflict like there was.
Exactly. And
which cost the town $180,000.
That's right. So
if Phil wasn't getting his way.
That's right.
Yeah. Ordinances can be changed even without the review of it. Yeah, well, that sounds like it's a pretty simple one. Anything that says timely manner, that should start with that. And it would avoid this, although it would be still within 90 days because he was voted out last month, right? But, then they should just set a time. We're gonna interview for 3 months and then we'll fill it. I don't know. But it should definitely say something other than timely manner.
I'm not sure about this OMG no comment, by the way. I don't know that it would be a popularity contest anymore because there were a lot. Sorry, Jim, if you watch this or hear about this, but there were a lot of votes for Jim that were, okay, he's better than Phil, but not my first choice.
That's always the case. If you have, who's the better of 2 evils, and I'm not saying that was the case here, but that's been a number of times I've voted for president of the United States. Who's the better of 2 evils?
Yeah.
And that's how elections always are, and popularity contests are a big part of elections, unfortunately. What was it? Kennedy was handsome.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was handsome and he had that crazy accent and he had swagger, but Nixon was smarter. Nixon was a better politician. Except Nixon sweat on TV. That was it. That killed him in that election.
He was also, that's true, but he was also, a bit of a crooked person.
Well, I mean, like they said, and not to get into that, he got caught doing what everyone else did.
Mm-hmm.
He just got caught. He had the wrong people doing it.
Well, that's right. And
because if you don't think that look at what happened with this whole fake Russian dossier, right?
Yeah.
If that wasn't crooked, I don't know what was. And they did it right in front of us. So Nixon just did what all the other politicians before him had done. He just got caught. He actually wasn't a bad president. The funny thing is, I just watched this show on Vice called, what is it called? It's something like Watching Us Die. And it's goes into all like the deep state. And they were talking about presidents with the nuclear suitcase, the nuclear, football, whatever they call it. And how Nixon Remember, that dude loaded up some bombers and started flying them over toward Russia. He was not messing around.
Wow.
Fortunately, Russia had called his bluff and nothing ever happened. But you get these presidents. So
hot off the press, by the way, from a source paying attention to school committee meetings. Apparently, the council president, who serves on the school committee, wants to push until the 4th if no quorum shows up tomorrow night. And so
and what if they don't show up on the 4th?
Right.
What's gonna? I mean, if they don't show up tomorrow night, they're not going to show up on the 4th. Why would they? You can't force them.
That's right.
He can't fire them.
No.
So why would that? See, it's just that if he does that, then that means he's got an agenda.
Oh yeah,
there's no doubt about it. He already does, but that's proof positive. If he tries to push this to another date, thinking, maybe those people will show up then.
No, what I think it is an attempt to embarrass the people that don't show up. People are not. He's going to grandstand. These people aren't showing up to the meeting,
and no one's listening to a lame duck town council president that went rogue a number of times and got landslide voted out of
700 votes. He
lost every precinct. Who is he talking to? Who does he think he's going to embarrass?
Unbelievable.
Do you think people are really going to remember, Phil? Do you think people are going to remember that so-and-so, remember 3 years ago and so-and-so didn't show up to that meeting for the school committee empty seat? And this is Phil, though. Again, threatening the town manager with big name politicians in the state because he didn't get his way with the harbor master. This is typical Phil. It really is.
Oh, someone wants to call in.
Oh, hold on. 561-212-4915. Call the show.
Welcome to Winter Boats.
Yeah. Yeah. Just don't swear. Okay. Well, maybe you should. It makes things interesting. Let me see. What's the phone number to call? 561-212-4915. The lines are open.
Yeah, we're right. Oh, here we go.
Look at that. Let's see if this works. It's always an adventure. You're on with the votes. Who's this?
It's Kurt Millar.
Hey, Kurt Millar. First time caller, long time listener?
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
What's up, buddy?
Nothing. I'm just listening, and I've been going over the ordinance over and over, reading, because I was on the Charter and Ordinance Review Committee. Actually, I still am. You are until the 5 years is over.
Okay.
Yeah, some of the ordinances can always be changed. Some have to when they're substantial, and they actually have to go to the state to get approval. Some can be done locally, depending on what it is.
A time frame. How about it's just a time frame?
Yeah, and that's the thing that gets me here, and it should be a defined time. So there are certain things. Once the nomination for the seat is there, it's like a certain period of time that it has to be posted, so people have time to submit and say, "Hey, I'd like to be nominated for this." Put your application in.
Right.
So I don't think there's been much talked about that either. So it can actually be nobody who's even running for a seat could be nominated.
Wow.
That's right. They can, the council president can just pull someone out of the hat.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So you might want to kind of think a little bit more. I've been thinking back and forth, best case scenario, worst case scenario on this. Now, if you say, okay, voter intent. Well, like I brought up, voter intent on this was for 3 seats, not 4, because having a 4th seat could possibly change voter intent.
Right. This is just the 3 seats were filled, right?
Yep.
And then there was a vacant seat that wasn't up for election, correct?
That's correct.
That's correct. It's a nominated seat.
It's a nominated seat. So in
by
this
our
case,
ordinance,
yeah,
it's not based on what the voters want, voter intent. It is based on nomination. Again, could be anybody.
That's a good point. That's a good point. But
so if you want to change it to voter intent and say, okay, there was a fourth person there,
that's an excellent point.
You should do that for every elected seat and say it's voter intent. If there's two people running for a seat, one person loses, say that person who gets the seat ends up leaving, is it voter intent for the second person to fill that seat?
I don't know, but Valentino disagrees with you. He says, I disagree with Kurt on this one. I left before nomination papers were due. So
it should have gone, in my opinion, it should have gone to a vote for the 4th seat.
You mean in the election?
Yeah. That would be my view of it. It was before,
that can't happen.
It should have been a 4th seat.
But that can't happen because it would throw off all of the mechanics of how the seats work, right? So, right. Okay. So I don't want to thank you. I don't want to beat people with that. I mean, we could go, I'm sure we could go on for hours about things we'd like to see happen or that might make sense, et cetera, et cetera. I think granted, I would not necessarily do this, but I do think, especially in small town where everyone's a neighbor and it's a freaking school committee, for God's sakes, you go with the voter intent. It's school committee.
Yeah.
This is exactly why many of the mothers that I spoke to trying to rally people to run didn't run. Don't want to. They don't want to deal with this crap.
Yeah.
They don't want to deal with it.
Hey,
no,
Kurt,
it's hard.
Hey, Kurt, we got somebody else that was trying to call in, so
no problem.
We appreciate. Hey, you need to call more, buddy.
Alrighty.
At least you can offset your sister. No, we love Wendy. All right.
Alrighty.
Thanks,
Take
buddy.
care.
All right, bye.
See ya.
So whoever was trying to call in just now, call back. Call back.
Yeah, call back.
There we go.
Oh, there it is.
You're on Winthrop Votes live stream. Who's this?
Hey, it's Tino. How's everything going?
Hey, Tino. How you doing, man?
I feel like I'm calling into like the Pat McAfee show or something.
Oh my God.
We hope that we hope this gets that big, right?
Yeah.
So what's up, man?
So here's what I don't understand. And I'm not blaming Phil. Like, the guy, say what you want.
Yeah.
He showed up. He served many years. I'm blaming sort of the process and lack of common sense.
Okay.
When I left, I was at a crossroads. I've been through some negative stuff and quite frankly got tired of the BS as a school committee member. Whether you like me or not, I think I've always showed up. In my last wish that I've told everyone on the council and even reach out to the Secretary of State's office was, I don't want this to be a political process. I want the voters to choose. The guidance I got from Secretary of State's office is that it could be placed on the ballot, which is why I left before the nomination papers were due. They didn't go that direction. They went with the appointment. It's simple. It should go to the 4th place candidate.
Did you know?
I was elected overwhelmingly twice. It's filling my seat. Those are my wishes. The 4th place candidate got more votes than the 5th place candidate. And quite frankly, it shouldn't be between both of them. They're both great people. I probably agree with the 5th place candidate more so on the issues, but the voters' intent is she came in 4th place. I mean,
let me ask you this, Valentino.
It's that simple.
Was there any, not promises made, but did you make your wishes known to?
Yeah.
Did they agree with you? Did they say sure?
No, I didn't really get a response. I just put it in an email and put it in the newspaper that my hope is that it's either appointed or goes to the 4th place candidate. I was very open and honest about that. I did not want to see this it shape up like that. It's really unfair to the candidates who put their name on the ballot. It's unfair all. And keep in mind, I voted on this issue twice. I mean, we filled 2 school committee seats. One of them was Gus Martucci, and I felt that he was on the committee in the past and, topped the ticket twice, that's who I should vote for, and I did. And the other was Suzanne Swope, who I was impressed with her credentials at the time. So, like, I know what it's like to be on the other side, voted to fill 2 positions.
Right.
Well, I will say this, Tino. Yes, I from a gentleman's perspective, I agree with you that it should be the 4th place person on the ticket. There's no question about that. But as far as being mad at the process, the reason this process is going the direction it is because of the town council president. He's the only one pushing it this way. He's steering the ship.
True. Yeah. He could have just waited and just let them pick it up.
It's not even waiting. I don't have a problem with them doing it now, so to speak. It's just if like, because we had the same thing when we voted. It's funny when we voted to appoint Gus to the school committee. It was around this time, and it was blocked. If you remember, we did it after the New Year, so it was actually kind of very similar. You could go back on YouTube and look at the tape.
Yeah, but
I voted to appoint Gus right away.
But like you said, it's the timing, though. You're like, why now? Why not? Like this popped up out of kind of the clear blue.
I don't even know about the time. I think it should just the timing. Because all that is minutia in the charter. I think it's just sort of like who should get it. I think it should go to the fourth place candidate, and if she says, you know what, I ran, I lost, I don't want to deal with it, then it should go to the fifth place candidate. That's really my own opinion on the case. It shouldn't even be controversial. I mean, there's 6 people on the ballot and 3 won. I mean, that's. And like I said, I left. I resigned maybe a week or so before nomination papers were in, so everyone kind of had a heads up, and it was transparent. Like, hey, I even put in the newspaper, I hope my seat goes to the fourth place candidate. I mean, people were kind of running for fourth place.
Yeah.
If there was such,
it didn't surprise anyone.
If there was such a rush on the council president's part to get this done, he could have very easily plucked one of the 7 candidates that was running and said, hey, we're going to do an appointment now before the election so you can stop campaigning. This is not genuine, what's happening. This is all
that time before an election is usually, in history, kind of like lame duck, section of like the council and school committee for the most part. Well, no one really does anything controversial.
Too. He's lame duck now too, when he's making decisions on his way out the door.
So Kurt Millar said, but based on the ordinances, it allows him to do it. They need to change the ordinances. Wishes don't mean anything in politics. But this is like a president leaving and then starting to pardon, anyone and everyone that's on his list. They want to get something done before they leave, or they appoint a Supreme Court justice, or they do whatever they need to do. They'll just before they go out the door, they want whatever they want done, and they put whoever they want there in place. So it would be interesting.
It doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, I don't know what he has to gain. Maybe just call for the job. I mean, I'm not going to knock Phil.
Right. As you, I respect that. Yeah. Leave that to us.
Yeah. Listen, you can. I'm going to
be a good guy
every time, Tino, because I don't like what's happening, and I'm going to call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
And it should just end. It should just end.
It shouldn't be controversial. It should be fourth place. Here you go. Yeah, that's but it's Winthrop. Everything's negative, and everyone's your friend for years until it comes to something like this. And it's just it's not like this anywhere else. It's definitely specific to Winthrop.
You said that, Tino, and I'm sorry, Todd. I'm going to kind of breach a private conversation that you and I had, but Todd actually said pretty much that same exact thing, Tino, that you just said, that I can't, I had these friends until I did this, and then all of a sudden they weren't my friends anymore.
Yep.
That's a shame.
It's something very specific to Winthrop only.
Yeah, seems like it. That's a shame too.
I mean, I've picked up new ones too, thank God, but
yeah. Look at me, right? Yeah. You picked me up along the way.
I don't know. That could be trouble.
All right, I will say one thing. Yes. One last thing. I do give the town credit for voting for both Julie and Jen, because being on the school committee is never easy. And the last year and a half, 2 years have been extremely difficult. So whether you agree with those two or not, I give the town credit for at least rewarding them for their service. And I just wanted to say that.
Right. Very good. That's very good of you. Well, Tino, thank you for the call. Have a Merry Christmas, buddy, and a Happy New Year.
Thank you, guys. Merry Christmas.
And feel free to call in anytime, man.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right, Tino. Thank you.
So we've kind of kicked the crap out of that subject, and I did have one more thing, unless you wanted to have anything else to say about the current town council president's behavior.
No, I think we've done enough since October.
We're just regurgitating the actions and behaviors, really. I mean, he's doing it to
Yeah.
himself. So we have something going on in the schools that's deeply concerning to me, specific to one of the teachers who at the moment will remain nameless.
Yeah. Let's
But
keep it that way for a while. Yeah.
yeah, the people in the know will know what I'm talking about. But here's the bottom line. We have a teacher in the school who earlier this year got into a little bit of trouble for reprimanding. No, sorry, speaking in the tone towards children about vaccines that shouldn't have happened. It was inappropriate. There was a conversation
Kind of
apparently.
demeaning
Yeah,
manner.
happened again just a couple weeks ago in a classroom. Um, in the classroom, and basically berating the children and calling them effing selfish, for not if
Yeah.
the masks were
Wow.
down or whatever, they weren't wearing them correctly. Um, I
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Now, I think that anyone who does that one time, uses that language one time, should be terminated immediately. Immediately. Unfortunately, that's not the case in this environment. I don't want to get lost in the whole debate about contracts and unions and that, but there's a lot to do, with that. Um, so the person was out, I think, maybe 1 or 2 days. Apparently, they're back. This person has 2 offenses in 1 year. A while back, we had someone with one offense, one, and it wasn't even similar to that. It was for remember what they used to call winter way back in the day. You had probably graduated shortly before, but I think you were what, 82, 81?
81.
81. Okay, so this was about 83. They called us Dip Town, USA. Do you remember that? And
No.
do you know? Anyway, they used to
Yeah.
call us Dip because everybody was doing it, right?
Right.
Well, somebody was doing it on the outside in the practice field, and they wanted to remove. It was a big uproar. Instead of just reprimanding and you know what I mean, and saying, "Okay,
Yeah.
don't do it again."
Yeah.
One offense, wanted to let this person go. This person has 2 offenses, and one of the reasons we're getting is, we're concerned about replacing this person. Now,
Because he teaches a subject that they can't get a replacement for.
right.
Jesus.
And listen, I have a child that attends class with this person. I prefer he sits there with the principal and does nothing until they find a teacher.
Can't they get a substitute and just give him a lesson plan?
I mean, I would think.
Right?
You know what I'd like to see though? Because look, okay, fine. You don't want to give me what I want. How about this? How about we put a camera in that room and record that person constantly so it doesn't happen again?
They would have to do it to every teacher. You can't single people out like that.
Fine.
And I know you're upset about it, but you have to put cameras in all the rooms, and I don't see a problem with that.
Well,
I don't see a problem with putting cameras in classrooms. Keeps everybody honest.
and maybe you might know the answer to this question, or I don't know if your contracts may have worked differently, but I've sent in a FOIA for all of the disciplinary action. I may not get it because if this is considered a open still or if it was unfounded category, I guess if it's closed and it's unfounded, I guess that category is meant to protect someone, right? Their reputation. If in fact there was not a real,
It would all depend on the statements. If there were other kids that heard it and they all pretty much collaborate the same story, then it can't be unfounded. It has to be addressed.
okay.
If it's a he said, she said, or he said, or she said, well, that's when you can have an unfounded. But if you get statements from enough people, enough kids that say, yeah, he said that, which is 2. All you need is 2 statements to his 1, then you have something. 3, 4 kids say, yeah, this is what he said. Well, you got something. It can't really be unfounded at that point.
So if you're suspended with pay, if you're suspended with pay, that means that, and that's a whole nother thing, suspended with pay, Jesus. But if you're suspended with pay until your case is, I'm assuming that's until your case is adjudicated, right? There's some type of
Yeah.
conversation that happens while you're gone,
Yeah.
and they decide to bring you back. Doesn't that mean the case should be closed?
Yeah, if they bring you back and put you back in the classroom, then the case is closed. Then why would they paying you for not being there if they're going to continue the investigation?
So if this is going on, that's going to be interesting. Then I should get the information that I requested.
Yeah, and depending on what they say, then we can break that down and we can look into that,
right,
and dig a little deeper into that. You know.
Yeah. So that is information being shared in general, because these are the things that happen in public schools, not just in Winthrop, right? There's so much protection for poor behavior, poor performance, both from the fact that you can't find teachers. I mean, it is I can't deny that it is a legitimate concern to find teachers in this particular discipline. It was when I served on the school committee, so I get it. But I just, to me, it's not an excuse. And at the end, this is just a small thing that happens in schools, right?
Yeah.
You know what else is unfounded? Is easy to be unfounded when a victim won't report, won't complain.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm not saying this is happening in Winthrop per se, but the point is, there's a lot of egregious things happening that I haven't found yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, kids talk, people talk, parents talk. Like I said, one kid was told that Christmas music is not acceptable in school, and that in Winthrop school. So
I guess, but here's a question, just to kind of to put us in check a little bit. What are we expecting? Are we expecting perfection? I mean, because you can't, the superintendent sets the tone, right? They're the CEO of the school, so they should set the tone.
Yeah.
But they can't be in front of their faculty and their building, and they have to leave some of this to their building administrators, right? So they can't be in front of these people all the time watching them. So are we expecting too much out of our school system?
No, the superintendent needs to have a good chain of command, and a good chain of command follows the rules, and they stay on their people. So the superintendent, like a general has colonels, colonels have lieutenant colonels have majors have captains have lieutenants have master sergeants, senior master sergeants, chief master sergeant. It goes down, and every one of those people in that level of the chain of command is accountable, has to be held accountable. So whoever this guy's supervisor is needs to be also held accountable. And whoever their supervisor is needs to be held accountable. Are you watching your people? And then he comes down and says, what are you doing? So people have to answer to this. If you have no chain of command, you have no control. It's then the inmates are running the asylum.
Well, I have to say, it's deeply disappointing that this person is a second, and I'm sure there's other violations, but we just, we don't know about them.
And you know what I expect? I expect teachers to teach the subjects they're getting paid to teach, like they did when I was in high school and junior high, when it was called junior high and not middle school. I hate middle school. I hate that name. Junior high. It's junior high. Teach the class you're paid to teach. No personal opinions. None of that.
Nope.
Just teach what you paid to teach, and teacher, leave those kids alone. That's it. That's it. All right, buddy. Well, we're up on an hour.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I didn't expect to be in this pop-up to be on so long.
I know. Well, right. We had couple good calls and good subject matter, and now we could take Christmas off in the Monday after Christmas, and maybe the Monday after New Year's.
Yeah,
that might be a good idea
for a while, unless something important comes up.
Something breaks, and then we find out about it. We'll come on, but in the meantime, we're going to take next weekend, next Monday, and the following Monday after New Year's, and because we would have been back then, but we get paid. Our vacation time is important to us. in episode 17. We're taking vacation time.
Yeah. What do you do? Are you going anywhere? Are you gonna? What are you doing for Christmas?
Small this year. It's just
Yeah.
going to be family. That's it. You know, just a quiet after the crazy Thanksgiving. It's going to be a nice quiet Christmas. You know, Christmas dinner, and yeah, maybe I'll go swimming Christmas Day.
It was
Maybe I'll go swimming.
I was up at 4 o'clock. It was 19 degrees, and I was outside.
It's ungodly at this point in my life.
Yeah, not
It's
good.
ungodly.
Ungodly doesn't even begin to describe it.
My pool was 74 degrees.
That's good.
That was ungodly.
Oh, Bob Gillis plus me heading to Florida Thursday.
He ain't leaving Florida. That dude won't even go over the bridge. I love Bob.
Where's Saratoga Street? Oh, wait, that's the easy one.
Yeah. The unofficial mayor with them. My buddy. And just a little tip for people that are watching that might be interested. I don't know who does, but you know, we have these Winthrop town parties. The mayor, Bob Gillis, and Jack Calabrese, and we're back in. We missed them for the last couple of years, and last year because of the KOFB. There's talk of another one coming up, maybe. So those sell fast, buddy. Those tickets.
A date certain or an idea?
Well, I can't. We're going to make a big reveal.
Okay.
Yeah, and also for people that are still watching, tune into the town council meeting tomorrow night. It's on Zoom, right? Or is it on YouTube, or what is it? It's
supposed to be on Zoom, but I don't think there was a link. Last time I was talking to Kurt, actually. Kurt and I spoke this afternoon, and he had mentioned that there wasn't a link for a bunch of meetings, which could be open meeting law violations.
Well, make sure there is somebody. Contact the town hall and let them know you want to watch it. You want to pay attention to it.
That's right.
Nothing on the Zoom link isn't posted yet. All right. And Bob Gillis hasn't left the island since 2001. Okay. That's a good segue out of this, buddy.
Yeah. And remember, all politics starts at the local level.
Atta boy. That's it, man. Well, Todd, have a great Christmas. I'm sure I'll talk to you before and after that.
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to everybody. Take care.
And to all our viewers, thank you for watching.
Yep.
You guys are the engine that runs this machine. And without you, it would just be talking to Todd. Well, we could do that on the phone, right?
We don't need all this equipment.
We don't need all this equipment. It costs money.
Yeah.
But we want to thank you for watching. Thank you for making it's not even our first year, but this part of our season successful, because it has been actually successful.
That's right.
And we're making a small difference, I think. We're ruffling some feathers. We're irking some people. We're making some people smile. So we're covering all the corners. So with that, I'll say Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Merry.
And Happy New Year. Todd, I'll let you take us out.
Happy New Year. Merry Christmas. Be safe. Eat well. See family. Hug friends. Hug family. Be careful.
And be nice.